necessarily those of Kutztown University, Kutztown University Student Government, Kutztown University Student Services Incorporated, KUR staff and management, or other affiliated organizations.
Kutztown Live. Kutztown University Campus's campus and community interest radio magazine. You can call Kutztown Live at 610-683-4859. And now, your host for Kutztown Live, Juliana Jablonski.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. I am your host, Juliana Jablonski, alongside here with my co-host, Mike O'Mara. Hello, Mike. I know you're over in the other room there.
Hi.
Last week, we had a great show with lots of guests, including Lori D'Onofrio-Galli from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. She is always keeping us very up to date on all things going on within the chamber, and she brought along with her Diane Shepler from Klinger Integrity Services and Solutions. We also heard from Coach Janet Maloof of the women's basketball team, and from Stephanie Casado from the Veteran Center with all the events that they have going on there. If you missed last week's show and want to hear those interviews along with a bunch of other ones, be sure to head on over to the KUR website at www.kutztown.edu/KUR and click on the podcast link, and that link will take you to the radio's YouTube page where you can find all those interviews. And now, on to today's show. We have an interview about meningitis coming up. We will also be speaking to Bryan Zellmer from KU Presents, and we will also be speaking to Jason from the Berks County Community Foundation. Here with us now is Bryan Zellmer from KU Presents. Hello and welcome to Kutztown Live.
Hi, Juliana. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are
Mike,
you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good, Bryan. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Do you want to start off just by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do with KU Presents?
Ooh, I didn't realize we were going to go into a deep philosophical question. Who am I?
What are we?
I actually am fairly new to Kutztown University, actually the whole area. I grew up in upstate New York, but the last 2 years I was working in Loveland, Colorado, which is about an hour north of Denver.
Beautiful.
Yeah, running the historic theater there called the Rialto Theater. And so, I'm kind of learning my way around here and learning the community. Been here a little bit since before the holiday season, so it's been a fun time, though. It's been a great learning curve for me.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And what do you do with KU Presents? I
handle the booking for the professional touring shows that come through, and I oversee the venue, the Schaefer Auditorium. And, we've got a lot of things that we're looking ahead to expand and grow into that I can't quite talk about today, but I will someday when I come back to visit.
All right.
But we've got a lot of events that were scheduled before I got here, and we're just seeing that season finish up and got a few shows left that are really big ones coming up.
Like what?
Yes, tell us about those.
Well, the big one that's coming up soon is just around the corner is the Birdland All-Stars with Tommy Igoe. It's a jazz program, big band swing, kind of rock and jazz, if you will. I don't know, for those who don't know who Tommy Igoe is, he's a pretty famous drummer. He's won all kinds of awards, and he actually, his big claim to fame that a lot of people know him from is he did the drum book for Broadway's The Lion King.
And he's coming here.
He was the conductor.
Okay.
For
I'm
the
down.
drum section. He played in the show for many years, or for many shows. I don't know how many years actually, but it's hundreds and hundreds of shows that he did with the Broadway show. And he's also been playing at Birdland, which if people don't know what Birdland is, it's been around since the 1920s. Actually, the current club I think has been around since the 60s or 70s. It moved locations, but it's in New York City and it's called the Jazz Corner of the World. It's named after Charlie Parker, and Tommy and his band have been playing a big band set almost every single week for the last 10 years. And this will be the first year that they're actually out on the road in about 5 years' time. So they're coming here to really swing it up at Schaefer Auditorium, and that's on Thursday, February 15th.
And how can we get tickets to see that, or how does that work?
Well, there's several ways you can get tickets. The easiest way is online if you go to kutztownpresents.org, kutztownpresents.org, and just follow the ticket link there. If you don't like purchasing tickets online, you can come in person. We've got a box office that's opened Tuesday through Friday from 11 till 4. People could just come on up to, it's in Schaefer Auditorium. And then we also have phone service, which people can purchase tickets that way too. And I'll give that number if that's okay.
That's
Go
fine.
for it.
You want me to wait to the end? We can wait to yes.
Let it fly.
We can
All
do
right.
it now, and then we can do it at the end. And
Grab your
just again.
pencils. It's 610-683-4092. Again, 683-4092.
All right. And is there anything else that's coming up after that, or?
Yeah, we've got a great dance show. It's Celtic and Irish, big production, sort of along the lines of Riverdance and that sort of thing. That's called the National Dance Company of Ireland. Rhythm of the Dance is the name of the show. And they're coming on Wednesday, March 28th. And then the last show in our season is Joey Alexander, the Joey Alexander Trio. Joey Alexander is a young child prodigy. He plays jazz. He learned when I think he was like age 2.
I read
or
about
3.
this.
Yeah, it's
wild.
crazy. If you go look up some of his videos online.
What was his name again?
His name is Joey Alexander.
Okay.
And I think he's up to the ripe age of like 13 or something.
Yeah,
right
13,
now.
14 around there, yeah.
But there's videos of him playing at age 4 or 5, like with some jazz greats, and just some of his improv is just incredible. It blows people's minds. He's just a prodigy, and that's the best word to describe him. The other thing I could say too, going back to Tommy Igo's show coming up with the Birdland All Stars, and again that's February 15th. Good Valentine's Day outing, if you will. We actually have a jazz club dinner. We're setting up our little theater underneath the main auditorium into a jazz club. We're kind of mocking it up like the Birdland Jazz Club in New York City. And we've got some student musicians, jazz musicians, who are going to be playing during the dinner. We've got this really great dinner set up for it, and it's going to be a fun time. And it's only $25 a person, so you can get a really cool menu, and so that's another option too.
What time's the dinner?
The dinner's at 6 o'clock and the show's at 7:30, so you got plenty of time to eat, enjoy some pre-show jazz, and check out the awesome talents of our students here. I've heard them play quite a bit, and they're just incredible too.
And is there somewhere we can go to see like a list of when all these events are,
Yes.
or where can we find all that?
That's kutztownpresents.org. That's the best way. We also have a Facebook page, which it's been kind of sluggish kicking it off, but now we're kind of using that more properly, and hopefully we'll grow that more. But that's KU Presents with an exclamation mark. KU Presents. That's the best way on Facebook, and eventually we'll branch out to the other social media. We're a little behind the times on catching up to the modern world, but we'll get there.
And how can people get involved in KU Presents if someone wants to be a part of it?
Well, we've got a lot of student workers. They work as ushers, as box office staff, as technicians, working backstage and helping us out in all kinds of ways. I'm not sure that we're looking to hire anyone else right now. Our list is pretty good, but coming next season, we'll be looking for more people to fill in for the people that have graduated and moved on. We also have opportunities for volunteering and other things as well. They could just contact us. They can find our contact information on our website, kutztownpresents.org.
Okay, and how do you pick these? How do you find these people that you pick? I'm just sitting here wondering that. Like, where do you? A lot of these people I've never heard of.
That is a tricky thing. There's no set formula for it. This is the fourth venue that I've been involved with programming, and everyone has been completely different. Here at Kutztown, we do 7 professional shows a year in our season, and we try to get them to be somewhat of a variety of different shows, but we also have to stay within. We have a lot of subscribers who really help finance the program, so we want to make sure that we do find a diverse set of shows that also appeal, where all of them appeal to that audience, to keep us going financially. But as we move on, there are plans, as I mentioned early in the show, that we're going to be growing, and who knows, in 1920 season, that sounds weird, 2019 to 2020, we're actually looking to expand our programming, and every year after that for a little while. So we'll be offering some things that we've never offered before, and I can't really say anything beyond that, but it's going to be really exciting.
The Roaring 20s.
Yeah, I said 1919. I know I meant 1920 season, but it sounds like 1920.
I feel you. Yeah, I got that a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Sorry.
Do a lot of people come out to these events?
We sell out just about every single show, which is really great. As I mentioned, we have the subscribers, and that fills up about a little more than half of our audience. Are subscribers that come to every single show, and then the other half of the audience, they come to what they like. And
are subscribers just like people from around the Kutztown community?
Yeah, it's community members. I don't know exactly what our radius is. Again, being new, we don't have all the stats memorized, but I know it's as far as the main audience is between Allentown and Reading. The two ends and everything in between here at Kutztown. I've met a lot of the subscribers at the last two shows that I worked, and a lot of really great people that have been coming for years and years. We've been in business for 30 years now at KU Presents. Much shorter than the university, of course, but KU Presents, this will be our 30th anniversary next season, and so it's going to be a really big year for us.
Yeah, wow. And is there a way someone would get in contact with you, or if someone has any questions, where would they go with these questions?
They're more than welcome to contact me, but they can find all the contact information on kutztownpresents.org. If they're asking about tickets, there's a link there or a phone number for the box office. There's also different staff members that handle different types of things. So if it's somebody that's renting the theater and has questions on the technical side, they would speak to one person. And so it really depends. But again, if they're not sure, they can send it to me, and I'd be happy to answer that.
All right. And is there anything you'd like to make sure everyone listening today knows about the shows coming up? Or
well, one thing I'll shout out directly to the KU students. A lot of students don't realize that we often have free tickets available for them, and if they're not free, they're always $10 for KU students. We don't publish that in our season brochure. They'll see the student price listed, but that's actually for students like under 18 years old that are in middle, high school, elementary, or other colleges. But KU students get a special deal of $10 for all of our shows, which is
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, and it's something that we need to do a better job of getting that word out, because I actually didn't know that either. I thought KU students was the student price listed in the book, and that's something that I was recently corrected, and they're like, oh, no, it's $10. So I was like, wow. And again, many times we even have different departments sometimes will buy tickets, or different things that happen that help some tickets become available for free even. So, students should always inquire and find out, and they can get tickets here at the MSU, or they can go up to the KU box office.
We just had a student here named Laura. She saw one of the Jacob, and she was raving about how about how awesome that was, and so that was really cool to hear.
I had so many people. That was my very first show here at KU, and I was standing in the lobby and trying to introduce myself to the different patrons, and time and time again, people kept saying, "Oh, I love KU Presents, and I really wanted to support the program. That's why I came tonight, but I didn't think I could sit through a whole show of ukulele music." And they did. They loved it. They were all blown away, because Jake Shimbukuru was just amazing. He played all different styles, and what he did with those 4 little strings, it just was incredible. I was blown away too.
Oh, wow. That sounds super cool. I think the ukulele sounds cool. I don't know. Well, thank you so much for coming out today. It was wonderful to hear and get a little bit of update. Hopefully there's a great turnout for February 15th.
I'm going. If it's $10, that's an easy night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thursday, February 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down.
Mark
there.
your calendar.
Yeah, I did.
I look forward to seeing you guys there, as well as any listeners that are coming. Make sure they say hello.
Yes.
Trying to meet new people here.
All right.
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we will be right back in just a moment with more of Kutztown Live.
I'm going to be a star on Saturday Night Live.
I'm going to be a pediatric nurse.
I'm going to write the next great American novel.
I'm going to pursue my love of art and study at Wash U in St. Louis.
But then, meningitis B struck. Our dreams never did come true.
We all had the meningitis vaccine that was available at the time, and that helped protect us against 4 of the most common groups of meningitis here in the U.S., A, C, W, and Y.
But at that time, there was no vaccine in the U.S. for meningitis B, so we didn't have the chance to be protected against it.
But there's good news. Today, there is a vaccine available to help protect against meningitis B.
Ask your doctor about it, because 16 to 23-year-olds have an increased risk because of how we socialize. For example, at crowded concerts or at parties.
Where we can share a drink.
Or a kiss.
Basically, we share saliva.
Know that when meningitis strikes, it can happen fast. Meningitis can lead to death, sometimes within 24 hours of being perfectly healthy.
I can't imagine thinking it's okay to knowingly help protect myself against only 4 of the 5 vaccine-preventable groups of meningitis.
That is not okay. Help make your dreams come true. Get vaccinated with both vaccines. The one for ACW and Y, plus a separate shot for Men B.
Do it because you can.
Interested in promoting on KU Radio? Contact KU Radio at KUR@Kutztown.edu or call our station at 610-683-4059. That's 610-683-4059. We provide broadcast, digital, and campus promotion free for KU organizations. Local business promotion is also welcome. If you're a KU student, faculty, or staff member, KU Radio is your opportunity to get on the air. We provide free training, teaching you the basics on industry standard technology. With dedicated production broadcast rooms, KU Radio is always available for you. KU Radio is located in McFarland Student Union Room 188. Our station meets Tuesdays at 11 a.m. in the Learning Center Room 113B. All are welcome.
It's us again, Kutztown. Brooke
and Allie
are back from the Career Development Center to tell you about the Lehigh Valley Collegiate Career Expo on Wednesday, February 28th. It's from 12 to 4 at the Holiday Inn in Bryansville. This fair has internship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, part-time employment opportunities, and full-time employment opportunities. Over 100 employers will be there. The Career Development Center will also be providing a shuttle to the event, so sign up today in Stratton 113. To get you ready for the fair, don't forget to come to our workshop, How to Work a Career Fair, on February 22nd in MSU 250. There will be 2 half-hour sessions from 11 to noon. Oh, and free pancakes will be served. See you there.
If you're having trouble paying your home heating bills this winter, there is help available. I'm State Senator Judy Schwank with a Pennsylvania Moment. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, provides financial help with heating bills and furnace repairs to those who qualify. For more information, call the LIHEAP hotline at 1-866-857-7095. I'm State Senator Judy Schwank with a Pennsylvania Moment.
The Women's Center at Kutztown University promotes the well-being and advancement of all women through education, support, action, compassion, and outreach. Visit the center, browse their library or over 1,000 books and videos, or just relax in a safe and comfortable environment. To get involved, visit the Women's Center in Old Main, 126, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. or discover their website at www.kutztown.edu/Women's Center.
And welcome back to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. We just heard from Bryan Zellmer of KU Presents, and here with us in the KUR studios now is Jason Brudereck from the Berks County Community Foundation. Hello and welcome to Kutztown Live.
I've been all over the website. I was all over looking at everything, and I'm sitting there looking at all the monikers. I'm sitting there looking at all the descriptions for what the foundation does. But what is it, from your perspective, that the foundation does for the community?
So what the foundation does is it helps people with their charitable giving. The foundation was founded in 1994 and relies on private donations to function. And what people use the foundation for is to fund causes that matter to them. So, for instance, if you wanted to start the KURadio fund, you would open up a fund with us. And then every year, that fund would deliver a grant that would support whatever you wanted to designate the fund for. So maybe it would give a grant every year to fund the radio station. So that's what people do. and often they will name a fund after someone in their honor or in their memory. And since 1994, we have started more than 300 different funds. They spin off about $3 million in grants and scholarships every year. And in that time, we've grown to have almost $75 million in assets.
Wow. That's an incredible amount.
Yeah, and that reflects the generosity of our community here in Berks County. It's people trying to support organizations through grants and students through scholarships.
Now, you got a lot of scholarships, got a lot of grants, and I see on the website that I see health, I see wellness, I see community, I see Reading revitalization as a strong point, and I see environmental protection as well. What is the most important facet that exists within the foundation? Where's the money going to right now that helps everyone out the most?
Sure. Many of our grants and initiatives focus on revitalizing downtown Reading, nurturing arts and culture, increasing educational attainment, encouraging community leadership, and improving access to quality health care. So for the arts and culture, for instance, we do grants that fund arts programming on Penn Street in Reading, and then we have a rural arts grant program as well, and that funds arts programming further out in the county, around the Kutztown and Hamburg areas, for instance. So we're bringing art to people that way. Those rural arts grants go to areas where we have found that people don't have ready access to, or at least aren't making use of ready access to arts programming. And then our health programs include an oral health program. We just hired, for the first time in several years, hired a new employee, Monica Reyes, and she is our Health and Human Services Program Officer. And she is trying to raise awareness about oral health, particularly among children, so we can improve oral health care access in our community. We had done a study a few years ago that showed that there was poor access to oral health care for many people in the community, so that's been a focus as well.
That's very good. I think to speak on your Reading and revitalization, there's a great quote from your president, Kevin Murphy, that I read. An attractive town is a necessity, not an amenity. I find that to be very refreshing. A lot of people don't value the ability to promote, the ability to fund, and the ability to share some of the events that are happening. So you mentioned before we got on the air here about the Downtown Alive. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing or saying it. Downtown Alive?
Yep, Downtown Alive, yep.
What is that? If someone hasn't heard about it, what is that?
Sure, Downtown Alive, it does have its own Facebook page if you want to go and find it. And we do promote it on the Community Foundation's Facebook page as well. But Downtown Alive is a free summer concert series. It brings 5 or so shows every year to downtown Reading on Penn Street. They are free and outdoors. They feature food, usually a beer garden, a wine tent, and usually some other kind of programming, whether it be a magician or jugglers or something to entertain people in between acts. And we've had a wide variety of acts come. We've had country, Latino, we've had rock, we had a whole bunch of different bands here. I think we've done 3 years of concerts, so this will be the 4th year for that. It'll be starting up probably in June. And so people can keep an eye on the Downtown Alive Facebook page and our Facebook page and the Downtown Improvement District Facebook page for information. They'll probably be announcing acts there in a few weeks later this spring. They'll let us know who's coming.
Well, how about an event? I mean, it's February 6th. We got something coming up in the next week or two that just really, maybe in a couple weeks, that someone can go to.
Sure. So we just finished the Fire and Ice Fest in Reading. The next 2 events that are coming up for us, one is on February 28th. Maybe it would be of interest to education or social work majors at Kutztown U. We'll be unveiling a 9-month study that we had commissioned on what children in Reading do when they're not in school. Our goal was to find out what they are or aren't doing and how that can be improved. And frankly, we thought maybe the results would be a little concerning, but the results are pleasantly surprising. There are plenty of things for children to do. And so we'll be going into that in detail on February 28th. So if there are any education or social work majors who want to find out more about that, they can go get a free breakfast at the DoubleTree in downtown Reading. You just go to our website, bccf.org, click on events, and you can register there to attend. It's free. And then the next thing is on April 3rd, we have a series called Consider It. It's a kind of a play on words. It's Consider It, but it's also like the one word Consider It.
I follow you.
Yeah, it's so every few months we have a forum that tackles an issue. We've done marijuana legalization, we've done immigration reform, and our next panel will be April 3rd. We're still putting that together, but you can find out more about that on our website as well. That typically is, we charge like $10 to attend, and you get a free or you get dinner out of it. It's not free, but the $10 cost there doesn't come close to covering the cost of the meal. Where we really just charge money to make sure people actually show up. When they register and say they're going to attend, if you make them pay a few bucks, they tend to show up.
Yeah, that's a strong rule. You mentioned a little bit Kutztown, how this upcoming reveal about 9-month study how it can benefit some of the Kutztown students within the social work major. What's something else that's happening through the Berks County Community Foundation that can benefit Kutztown students right now?
So we just recently announced that we did issue a couple of grants from our Diversity Alliance Fund. The one went to the Children's Home of Reading, and that's to help train foster parents of LGBTQ youth. And then the other grant that was issued was to the Kutztown University Foundation. They received a $1,000 grant from our Diversity Alliance Fund, and the university matched that grant. And that money will be used to fund campus-wide safe space training workshops and to assess the campus climate for LGBTQ students here at Kutztown University. So that program will be coming up soon, I believe, and you can probably find out more about that from the Kutztown University Foundation if people are interested in finding the details on when and where those workshops will be.
We just had the President's Board of Directors for the Alumni Association speak at our retreat. He's a wonderful group, wonderful man, wonderful institution. So I'm really happy you're working with us. That's phenomenal.
We have issued grants to the Kutztown University Foundation before. About 4 years ago, we gave them, I think, $35,000 from our Sustainable Energy Fund grant, and that replaced all of the lighting with LED lighting at the tennis courts that are on campus, and I believe at the field house.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big project a few years ago that we helped fund.
What's the future looking like for the foundation? I saw a lot of quotes about how you wanted to grow and kind of assist the community in a united way form, but there needed to be some significant growth, and they wanted that growth to be short, but they also wanted it to be fruitful. Where do you see some of that larger growth coming from the Berks County Community Foundation perspective?
Do you mean from our donors' perspective? Or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was another quote from your president. If not your president, then someone else within the foundation.
Okay.
They mentioned that there needed to be a short burst, but a fruitful burst of growth to really help revitalize the town in the way that they saw the foundation when it first came to fruition.
Sure. So, yeah, what we're doing right now is working with organizations to help revitalize downtown Reading, and we wanted to do that in a strategic way. We've been doing these concerts and the Fire and Ice Fest and the Penn Street Arts programming, and we've been, spending quite a bit of money on this effort to revitalize downtown and increase foot traffic and increase interest from investors in downtown Reading, and that's been working to an extent. We do have people who are opening restaurants and buying buildings and renovating them, but we wanted there to be a plan from the city and from the Downtown Improvement District and from the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance as well. And so we said we will continue to fund these initiatives, but we need you to come up with a plan to follow. And they did. They did exactly what we had asked. They came up with a plan. They created a new position, which is the Executive Director of Downtown Revitalization. That's a chamber employee. And that employee and a lot of those initiatives are going to be funded by the Community Foundation over the next 5 years. We made that commitment. And then we hope that is the shot in the arm that is needed, the guidance that is needed to help downtown Reading. And I think some good things will flow from that in the long term. But yeah, that's the initial, that was a $1.7 million investment that was committed to over the next 5 years.
Wow. that kind of money it's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot. I'm really excited as a community member, as someone who interned in Reading over the previous summer. I saw the change. I saw people walking around. I saw people having a good time, and I saw some of the improvements that were happening in that city. So thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you regarding this matter. And I'm really hoping later this semester we can keep talking about some of the stuff that Community Foundation's doing.
That would be great. We think there's a lot of momentum right now in Reading and in Berks County in general, and we're really excited about it, and I think people can feel that.
All right. Jason Brudereck, thank you so much for coming to Kutztown Live. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tune in to Technicolor Beats with KCD. Easy listening, alternative, laid back, light, and fun. Every Tuesday evening, starting at 6, only here at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
My name is Michael O'Mara. I am the president of Kutztown University Radio, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. We have Dr. Katelyn Weymouth. Hi, Katelyn.
Hello.
Why are you here today?
I'm here to tell you a story about my life where I contracted bacterial meningitis, or meningococcal meningitis, as it's more commonly known in the medical field.
Doesn't sound good.
No, it's definitely not a good thing to get, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Why is that? What's going on?
So basically, I was a freshman in college at the University of Connecticut 3 weeks into my freshman year of college, and I went home to visit my parents and to catch a homecoming football game, and went back to school and started having some hot and cold spells and achy feelings. So I, went to my local infirmary and said, hey, I'm not feeling too well. I think I might have the flu. And they said, well, you don't have a fever or anything, so why don't you go back to your dorm room, and if you don't feel good the next morning, come back in. So I went home, took some medicine, went to sleep, and woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, I'm not sure why, I couldn't go back to sleep, and so I climbed down from my top bunk and fell over, which, being a college kid, you've got stuff all over your dorm room, so I thought I fell over on something, but kept falling over, and woke my roommate up, and my roommate's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, go back to sleep, I'm just gonna go take a shower. And she's like, I don't think you're okay. So she called the infirmary. They came to get me. They, for some reason, let me go back to sleep, and when I woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning, I started breaking out in purple spots everywhere, and that's when they were like, this isn't good. So they took me to the local community hospital, stuck me in a closet, what I thought was a closet, because there's like pipes and everything hanging down, and I'm like, this is probably not good if they don't know what to do with me. At that point, my feet were getting cold. I was covered in purple spots. I looked like I was in a fight and lost miserably, and I'm a pretty tough girl, so I think I would have been pretty okay if I had been in a fight, but they decided to take me to Hartford Hospital. By then, I was going in and out of consciousness. My feet were really cold. My mom was there. They had wrapped my feet in heating blankets. I was telling my mom, hey, Mom, can you turn the heating blanket all the way up? She's like, Kate, they are all the way up. And I'm like, well, I can't feel them. So then I was slowly put into a medically induced coma, and I was diagnosed with meningococcal meningitis. I was basically in a medically induced coma for 2 months, which during those 2 months I was almost given my last rites twice: kidney failure, liver failure, 300 units of blood transfused into my body. I got a sinus infection, so I had a trach. I was given the amputation of both my feet, and over 63% of my body covered in skin grafts. So 2 months later, which was Thanksgiving Day, I woke up to the question of whether I still had my feet, and I was literally in a bubble. All 4 sides of me was encased in plastic wrap, basically, because they didn't want any fear of any other infections coming. So anybody that touched me had to have gloves. My parents couldn't touch me. They couldn't give me a kiss. They couldn't hug me. My mom and dad basically had to tell me every hour on the hour, due to the amount of pain medication I was on, that, Kate, something really bad happened to you. You lost your feet. They're not there. You're going to be okay, though. And so I slowly had to learn how to adapt to this and accept a new life. I went in weighing a healthy 154 pounds. I was an athlete. I was involved with sports and community and everything. And I basically ended up weighing 90 pounds. That's how much muscle, fat, and tissue I lost. I was basically a 18-year-old in a baby's body. So I had to learn how to do all this with new prosthetics. When I first saw my first set of prosthetics, I did not want anything to do with them because they were not pretty at all. They were plastic and thigh-bearing, but I realized that I really didn't have an option. It was either I was going to be in a wheelchair all my life or I was going to learn to walk with prosthetics. Maybe these ones weren't so pretty, but my future ones would look better, more human-like. And so I didn't see as much as an option, so I decided I'll going to start working with these prosthetics. And 8 months and 25 days later, I finally got to go home, where I started intense exercise physiology, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. I got back to school that following fall with 2 canes, and then after a month was back to 1. And ironically, when I went back, the meningococcal meningitis vaccine that covered the 4 serogroups at the time was mandatory. So unfortunately, though, I didn't get vaccinated. My mom weirdly was watching 2020, and she saw it and about meningococcal meningitis, and so she called my physician and said, primary care doctor, and said, hey, I saw this 2020. Should my daughter be vaccinated with this? And my doctor actually was like, well, it's so rare that I don't think she needs it. Well, at that point, I had already gotten it. So basically, I'm here to tell you that, getting this is no joke. And not only is if you survive, even though you survive, there's still long-term effects of it. I have skin grafts on both my residual limbs. So I have to deal with open sores all the time. I have to deal with prosthetics they're not cheap. My prosthetics that I'm wearing right now are $44,000. So, and I have to get new ones about every 2 to 3 years. So I can't just go and say, hey, I think I'm going to move across the country and backpack through Europe because I want to. I have to make sure I have health insurance to be able to afford anything that comes my way, whether it's prosthetics or a potential infection. So, when my primary care physician says to my mom, it's rare, well, it's not so rare. It can still happen. I was a freshman in college enjoying a freshman life of going out, having a good time, not eating well, not sleeping well. So you're being exposed to a lot of foreign bodies, and the meningococcal meningitis is swapped by anything that swaps bodily fluid. So if you share a cup with someone, if you share chapstick, lipstick, kiss someone, you could actually be a carrier, but for some reason your body is just not accepting it, but you could pass it on to someone that it is, and therefore go through this horrible experience. And unfortunately, many do die if it's not caught quick enough or early enough, because it's commonly misdiagnosed as a flu. A doctor may say, like, I went to my infirmary the first time. They said I wasn't sick. And luckily, though, they caught it, but I still have to deal with a lot of the ramifications of getting it.
My heart's beating a little fast right now. Wow. How do you deal with, there's obviously physical ramifications, but the mental stability, the mental strength to deal with that?
Well, first I have to say I have unbelievable parents. My mom and dad are amazing. My mom took she was a school teacher at the time, so she took the year off for medical leave, and so she was with me every single day with my ups, my downs, of me yelling at her, screaming at her, and then my dad would come in after work, and on the weekends he would give my mom the weekend off, and he would come in and we would watch the New England Patriots play
topical
on Sundays, but I think as I was telling Fran here, who's here with us.
Hi, Fran.
Hi. I was saying to her, I grew up in a small town. I was close with my principals, and my principals came to visit me when I was in the hospital, and they said, one of them said to me, and he says, don't take this the wrong way, Kate, but he's like, out of everybody from your graduating class, he's like, I'm glad you got it. He meant it in the aspect of, if it was anyone else that he knew from my graduating class, they would have crumbled and broken down. I just have always been this way. I'm a stubborn Pollock, so I'm not as my parents call me. I'm not willing to take handouts. I'm not willing to let something like this defeat me. it was really hard in the beginning because I had a new label. I was disabled. So in the beginning, I refused to get the handicap placard. I refused to accept the fact that I was disabled. But my mom was like, Kate, you went through a lot and you've made it this far. She's like, use it sometimes for your perks. So I was like, well, okay. And then I also realized that this new label I had didn't define me. It was just another part of me. So I need to realize that wasn't going to be my defining moment, that I was going to still live a life I wanted to live. And to be honest, I have done more so those that have their feet is referred to as able-bodied. Okay. And so I'm an amputee. So when I was an able-bodied person, I always had that fear of doing things on my own. Like, it wasn't the cool thing to do. I didn't have anybody to do things with. I didn't want to go outside the realm of what was cool. But once I went through this, I realized that life is precious. You only live it once. So why am I going to miss out on things I want to do because I have to do them by myself? I've done so much as an amputee now, and I've met amazing people because of it, and I have amazing stories to tell because I've pushed myself to do these things, because I know life is short and you only live it once. And I've also realized that if it's something I truly want to do, I'm going to get there. Whether it's a bend in a road, I as you referred to me as doctor, and originally I tried to get into a grad school.
I'm sorry, I completely I'm so wrapped up in this, I completely forgot about that section. Like, you're a doctor.
Yes, I am.
Oh my goodness.
I have a doctorate in human and molecular genetics. So I'm not as we refer to doctor. I'm just a doctor.
That's still a pretty strong accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, my heart's still beating a little fast. To grasp my head around that is a little hard. And I had a lot of people ask me, they go, what's the point of pushing this? Why are we talking about this? Why is the Dean of Students talking about this here at KU? Why are we getting it in our bare essentials? Why are we pushing it on the radio? Why?
Okay.
I feel like it's a pretty... I'm not. Before you even start, Fran, I feel like that's a pretty strong reason as to why. Because if it was just a freshman in a situation 2-3 weeks in, maybe they just started last week here at KU, maybe 2 weeks ago, and they're starting to feel a little iffy. I'm praying here that's not the case, but like if you're in that position and you hear this, get something done. Fran, what can KU students do to make sure that this doesn't happen to them?
Yeah, my name's Fran, and I'm the Director of Health Promotion and Alcohol and Other Drug Services. In some of our sessions today, I did share with students that in October, I will start my 12th year here at the university. And all the years that I'm here, this particular topic is very important to the community health and the well-being of our student population, not only here at Kutztown University, but also throughout the country. We've kind of done a blitz of information. What I've learned is people are ill-informed. I would have to say a month ago, I was ill-informed. The meningitis B vaccine that you're starting to see all over the place in like daily briefs and bare essentials and on posters and maybe even on Instagram, that particular vaccine was not developed until 3 years ago. So we have an entire student population throughout the country that thinks that the other vaccine that you're familiar with that you have to have before you come to college, that is not protecting you from the meningitis B.
It's not protecting you from what Katie over here just explained.
In regards to the aspect on how a disease can progress. What we are finding out that the 4 strains, and I'm talking in regards to layman's term, that we're really pretty much familiar with, and even parents will say, oh, my children are immunized and things like that. Those particular strains have been kind of eradicated because we have a big population that have been immunized. And that immunization was not available when Katie had contracted the disease. But now we're seeing is that strains of B is popping up on college campuses. The reality is our college population is probably not protected unless somebody was really vigilant to learn more about meningitis B. So this is kind of like cutting edge. What we do know is that campuses throughout the country and even in Pennsylvania that have had a diagnosis there on campus, it kind of has a trickling effect. It may not spread like the flu. You know, it may happen in September, and then you may see a case maybe next January or things like that. But however, what we do know, those that are diagnosed, within 24 hours, you could be dead. And it presents itself as the flu.
Let that sink in if you're listening. That's not good. That just is not good. Was there a case here before?
Yes.
When?
At the end of last semester, there was an email that went out to the student population, and it talked about that there was a diagnosis that occurred. It did not happen to the point of like the medical intervention, and I can only talk in layman's term,
Sure.
but in what we do know, people can be carriers. So, you know, people that you're sharing bottles with, people that you're sharing chapsticks with, people that you're smooching with, people that you're sharing a fork with, people that maybe you're even sneezing on, can actually, if you happen to be a carrier, you could spread it to the person. So the only thing that you could do as an empowered, educated student and actually as a consumer, because students at this time are making some really great lifelong decisions, is that to take action and get the immunization. Most students have coverage of medical insurance up until the age of like 26.
Yeah.
So if you're covered under any private insurance, it could be as simply gone through the insurance process. You get vaccinated. There's 2 vaccines. Again, I'm going to kind of stay away from the medical component, but more of the college health.
Yes.
But what's imperative, as you sit there and contemplate, should I get it or should I not? You are not protected.
Yeah.
So what we do know on college campuses throughout the country and Pennsylvania, once you see one diagnosis, you may see weeks down the road or maybe months down the road another diagnosis, and so on and so on. But when people get it, and if they're compromised and then it blows into, you know, the full illness, you know, you only got 24 hours. 24 hours. So what we're doing is we're doing a campaign to educate the students. Currently, right now, parents have received a postcard in the mail. And to be honest with you, I was naive, and I didn't know, all the different things and the components. And but as I learned more in regards to the community health issues, you got to protect yourself. And you got to have that conversation, and students are empowered. And I truly believe here at Kutztown University, the students are brilliant. They're smart. You know, you could check out information. We have information on the website. What we have done is we've partnered with a local pharmacy that's going to be on campus on February 20th and 22nd for an immunization clinic. And we do have forms that need to be completed so they could do like run it through your insurance. So when you do show up, you know, you're able to get the immunization. You could also show up and they would run the process for those immunization clinics that they're going to have. For more information, check the health center's website. All the information on meningitis B, the vaccine, a letter to the students, and different things like that is all there on the front part of that particular webpage.
And that'll be linked in the description of this video once it goes up live for sure. You said the 20th and 22nd, this immunization clinic will be on
Yes,
this
on
campus.
the 22nd, it's going to be in Keystone.
Okay.
And on the 20th, I believe it's in the McFarland Student Union building.
20th right here in the McFarland Student Union. Also, some people call it the Sub. If you're out there and you call it the Sub, it's the MSU as well. And the 22nd over in the Keystone.
Yes.
Okay. And that is Tuesday, February 20th, and Thursday, February 22nd.
Correct.
What is the time?
Yeah, the immunization clinics will be 10 to 2 on Tuesday, February 20th in the MSU or Sub formal dining room. In regards to Thursday, it's going to be on February 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Keystone lobby.
Keystone lobby. Okay.
Yeah. And some of these other questions that have been presented to us today, as Katie has made her appearance at several presentations.
It's been a busy day.
Yeah. A student had asked, well, can I get it by getting the vaccine? No. You can't get meningitis B by getting the vaccine. The meningitis B vaccine is designed to protect you from contracting meningitis B. And also, too, like any vaccine that comes in different dosages, you got to make sure that you do the follow-up. So let's say if I'm a student, I'm going down, I'm going to get immunized at this clinic. What there is that there's an option to go into a text And then in 6 months later, you're going to be reminded. What we're looking here at Kutztown University is to provide another immunization clinic in August when students return.
Very good.
In addition, a local pharmacy, and you would want to maybe call the health center or call the local pharmacies, you could also get the vaccine then. But what's important is on our webpage, or you may see circulating, is to get the insurance information together. So it could expedite your experience of actually participating in the meningitis B clinic that we're offering here. So here again, community health issue among college-age students throughout the country. What we do know, once a diagnosis occurs on the campus, it becomes a trickle-in effect. If somebody contracts meningitis B, it could possibly leave within 24 hours death. A person can be perfectly healthy. Also, the reason why we're so susceptible at a college campus is because of the close living quarters of one another. And in addition to sharing drinks, sharing a fork, kissing someone, sneezing on someone, it's just that we are definitely in, I would call it a petri dish.
It's bacteria.
Yeah, that you could actually spread it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean when you spread it that everybody's going to show the symptoms. They could be a carrier. So there are some colleges in Pennsylvania where they are requiring the second type of meningitis vaccine. And through the country, however, in Pennsylvania, it's recommended. But colleges can make a decision to require it to protect the student population.
I wanted to ask a question, but I didn't want to just jump it on you. Can I ask if there's any progress on whether or not it's turning into a requirement, or is that's absolutely...
This is the blitz. This is beginning. This is groundbreaking.
Right. So we'll take this as maybe, it could be happening. Okay, I won't ask that question. I will. Can I mention the health website, the health contact info, phone number? Okay, because keep talking about the website. I want to make sure people have a call to action there. Fran, you keep talking about the website. The website is, and I'll say it out, www.kutztown.edu/health and wellness. That's the word health, and it's not the little, it's AND wellness. That's kutztown.edu/health and wellness. For contact information, 610-683-4082 is the health centers here at KU's phone number.
Correct.
And health@kutztown.edu is the email that's listed on the website.
Correct.
Those are the several ways that you can interact with this and get more information. Fran?
And I think that this is life-changing and life-informing.
Yeah.
So kind of remember where you are as you're listening to this, because, here at Kutztown University, the administrators are really invested in making sure that our students are well-informed. And as a matter of fact, earlier last week, we found out it was the confirmation that Katie actually flew in to be here and make a special guest appearance to kind of send the message. So if people have any questions, please go to the website. This is something that's important. And I think in my almost 12 years of being here, this is truly kind of like a high alert of community health concerns.
I agree. Whether you're listening live, whether you're listening on demand on the YouTube page, whether you're listening 6 years from now because you accidentally stumbled across this YouTube page and going, what the hell is this? I hope some significant progress is being made after we've seen it here at Kutztown, after Katie is here to communicate about this and how administration is seeing that this could be a problem. I'm really hoping down that line, if I come across this video, if someone else comes across this video, and they go, ooh, and then they see that there's been progress made. Fingers crossed, because clearly this is an issue. Clearly it needs to be addressed, and I feel like it is.
Yeah, it would mean the world to me if it means no one else had to go through exactly what I went through. Because you got to remember, one, if you survive, which many don't. Two, even after survival, it's my whole life. It's not a one and done. I survived, yay. It's okay. Now I have to deal and adapt to a new lifestyle.
With Dr. Weymouth over here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. Your university is great. I really have enjoyed being here. You all have been so friendly and warm and welcoming, and I'm glad I have been able to spread the awareness about this, and I hope that it's up to you to make the decision, but I hope personally that you do get vaccinated to prevent this from happening.
I will.
And just keep in mind each day you go by not having the vaccine, you're going another day of not being protected.
Yeah. Okay. I'm writing the dates. I'm not kidding. February 20th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Here you go.
It's happening. Yeah, it's written down. It's happening. I'm telling people. I'm urging them to listen to this interview because once you hear what Dr. Weymouth over here said,
we have the forms too. So if people
Yeah.
want to go through the process of the immunization clinics, that'll be there.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's an easy, non-complicated process for the students.
I like that. Those are good words. My name is Michael O'Mara. You've been listening to Kutztown Live here with special guest Dr. Katelyn Weymouth and Fran Cortez Funk from the KU Health Center. Thank you both for coming here. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
For all things KU Radio, be sure to use the hashtag KU Radio on social media.